Coming up in the next 30 minutes on the marketplace, Bank of Ghana holds 20.9 billion cedis of the country's total domestic debt, representing 17.2%. We have details. Also, survey by Private Enterprise Federation shows that 69% of smaller businesses operating in urban centers are unaware of laws guiding taxation of businesses. Plus, government approves a 2 billion cedi guarantee scheme to help local businesses affected by COVID-19. And later in the bulletin, International Trade Commission rules in favor of Aluex over the aluminum smelter complaints about the importation of coils from China. Stay with us. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. In our first story, the Bank of Ghana held an estimated 20.9 billion cedis of the country's total domestic debt at the end of June this year. That's according to its second quarter development report. Charles Nixon Yeboah has more.
The central bank's holding in domestic debt represents 17.2% of the total debt. Banks, on the other hand, held 37.8 billion cedis, about 31%. SNIT and insurance companies held a little over 612 million and 678 million cedis respectively. A little over 24 billion cedis of the nation's domestic debt, representing 20.3%, was however in the hands of non-resident investors. At the end of the fourth quarter of last year, the Bank of Ghana held 15% of comparative holdings, while deposit money banks held 29.5%. The domestic component of government debt at the end of July this year stood at 125.1 billion cedis. This is approximately 32.5% of gross domestic product. Government will add a new debt of 2.5 billion cedis to its existing loan when it borrows 22.1 billion cedis in the last quarter of this year. Large chunk of the borrowings will come from the domestic market.
Now, a survey by the Private Enterprise Federation, PEF, in collaboration with Usiwa Projectors, revealed that 69.7% of micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises operating in urban centers are not aware of the laws guiding taxation of businesses. Now, this is compared with 91.3% in rural areas. However, 70.8% of the smaller businesses in urban areas registered with the Ghana Revenue Authority and are therefore deemed to pay tax, but only 49.4% in the rural areas have registered with the Ghana Revenue Authority. Chief Executive of PEF, Nana Osei Bonsu, says the findings call for reduction in taxes as well as massive tax education by GRA for taxpayers. He told Joy Business government must adopt a tiered tax system or a flat rate scheme for small businesses to generate more revenue.
Tiered tax regime, the findings were that businesses were finding it difficult to pay their taxes, basically for various reasons. One is the tax laws don't allow them to understand and appreciate what they need to do. Two, the tax rate is so high that they cannot afford to pay. And as I said, they are in the business to make money. So if they're going to be paying taxes and collapse their business, they go opt to continue their business. So the findings, these were the findings. The recommendation is for us to create a tiered tax system using turnover, not net income as such. Turnover as if you do business, your sales receipts, what is it that you get? If that's the case, if you 90,000 up to one cedi to 90,000 cedis, you pay maybe 1,500 Ghana cedis a year, and that's it. Nobody's going to harass you, nobody's going to worry you. Then from 90,000 to 200,000, you may be paying 6% instead of the 25%. Nobody's going to harass you, nothing, and you go your way. And then from 200,000 to 1 million, you opt for either one rate or you take the normal tax, So that is the findings, that's the recommendations.
Now, CEO of PEF, Nana Osei Bonsu. Now, the survey also revealed that 42.7% of business owners sampled in the urban centers were educated to the secondary or basic levels, whilst 39.9% had degrees.
So more people will feel comfortable paying without any constraint to their business. And as I said, business ownership's responsibility is to their business, not to the government, because they set up their business with their income to make money for themselves. In that order, they also are good citizens and honor the obligation of tax payments. So if that's going to be the case, they will readily comply. And that voluntary compliance is going to reduce the cost of tax administration. You don't have to chase anybody. It's going to be from the confines of their home, in their offices. They send a check, mobile money payment, and everything is done. So we have to, this is the beginning of a relationship that we all going to work on. The politician being represented by the chairman, the GRA regulator, for us to sit and do the scenario analysis every which ways to make sure that the near future is tomorrow. Because Ghana is not in isolation. There's a big thing coming, elephant coming, continental free trade. Competition is coming from everywhere. And unless we capacitate our local businesses to be able to keep the resources to compete, we're going to collapse. And they're not going to wait whether Ghana qualifies or not, whether they have adequate understanding. The guys from Nigeria are going to come, from Kenya, from South Africa, from Mauritius. They're all going to come. So the businessman going to, what is happening? There are no laws here? Yes, there are laws. But the guy cannot compete.
Now, government has approved a 2 billion cedi guarantee scheme to help local businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The scheme was developed to facilitate and improve access to financing by businesses through the issuance of a guarantee cover to participate in financial institutions. There is more in the following report.
Speaking at the launch, First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Poku Afare, said the scheme will help reduce the cost of borrowing of SMEs and increase their access to appropriate financing.
It is my fervent belief that this guarantee scheme under the Ghana Cares program will go a long way to reduce the risk perception of these SMEs, help reduce their cost of borrowing, and increase their access to appropriate financing. This in turn should enable them to produce more to meet both local demand and to provide decent livelihoods to households that depend on them. A unique feature of the Ghana Cares program is that it is being done through the provision of guarantees rather than cash handouts, and it's less distortionary to both the financial system and beneficiaries' own sustainability going forward.
Minister of Planning, Professor George Yao-Jan Bafo, who represented the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, also stated that the scheme will guarantee 80% of credit extended by participating banks to their clients.
Through this scheme, and as we've been told by the governor, we are incentivizing banks to lend to private sector at competitive rates. And this is a 2 billion Ghana cedi initiative to be administered by GIRSAL to help SMEs to borrow from banks at more affordable rates with longer tenure. The scheme will guarantee up to 80% of credit extended by participation banks to their clients.
In a media engagement, President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Yao Edu Jemfi, said the scheme comes as a big relief for all local industry players.
I have had numerous calls from my members. What are you doing for us? What is the government doing? With all the planning that the finance ministry was doing along with the Bank of Ghana, with the initiation of this program, Ghana Care, a lot of things are going to be in place. So that, like I still repeat, that yes, with access to finance, which is a major problem for most companies, this is really going to make a difference. And once people have access to funds and be able to buy new equipment, be able to expand their businesses, definitely what production will be available, and we will not have to import everything.
The finance minister, in his media budget review and supplementary estimates, announced the establishment of a guarantee scheme of up to 2 billion cedis to enable businesses to borrow from banks at a more affordable rate and a longer course. Nicholas Brown for Joy Business.
Also in the news, the National Insurance Commission, NIC, has commenced the training of some 250 national service personnel posted to the Urban Traffic Management Unit of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service. The training, which forms part of the Commission's structured agenda to create insurance awareness in the country, is expected to be replicated across all other security agencies. Now, speaking at the launch of the program in Accra, the Commissioner of Insurance, Justice Yaofori, indicated the training seeks to harness the newly introduced motor insurance database.
Training, which will be provided to you on insurance by the Ghana Insurance College, is to equip you in discharging of your duties, since you will be presented with first-hand opportunity and also to interact with the public. The NIC will continue to collaborate with the police in order to bring insurance to the doorsteps of every Ghanaian. Mr. Chairman, it is worthy to note that today's launch marks the commencement of a series of insurance training programs outlined and targeted at the security agencies, i.e. the police, the military, prisons, fire service, immigration, and other allied agencies. This has the overall objective of deepening financial literacy as well as expanding the financial inclusion nets. I am delighted about the prospects of this launch, as it could not have come at a better time, as it coincides with the novelty motor insurance database. This training is expected to equip you in insurance in general. I will therefore entreat you all to take the training seriously, as some of you at the end of the service have the desire to develop a career in insurance, which also has abundant opportunities.
Meanwhile, the director of the Ghana Insurance College, Richard Otri, disclosed that the college has so far trained about 4,000 youth.
In 2018, the college was tasked by the NIC, that's the National Insurance Commission, to train about 10,000 agents nationwide. So far, almost 4,000 individuals have been trained and distributed to the various insurance companies. The primary aim of embarking on such a training exercise is to increase insurance penetration, create jobs and opportunities, as well as deepen insurance education in Ghana. The National Insurance Commission and GIC always seeks the Ghana Police Service as a main traditional partner in law enforcement, particularly in insurance law. It is therefore essential to extend the training to the police personnel in the country, including new National Service Secretariats. At the end of the program, successful candidates will be awarded certificate in agency practice. Therefore, we encourage all participants to participate in the examination process.
You're at the marketplace. Some other news you're following for you. The Ghana International Trade Commission has ruled in favor of Aluworks after the former petition the Commission over the importation of aluminum coils from China, resulting in unfair trade practices. Whilst presenting the ruling, Vice Chairman of the Commission, Professor Paul Kuruk, said the products imported from China have been causing material injury to the Ghanaian industry. This, he said, precipitated the ruling.
After considering the facts available to it, the Commission made a preliminary determination that the subject product originating in China is being dumped onto the Ghana market, causing material injury and a threat of material injury to the Ghanaian industry. Subsequently, based on the details as contained in the Commission's preliminary report, responses to the questionnaires, a hearing conducted on January 9, 2020, and other information on file, the Commission made a final determination that the subject product originating in or imported from China was being dumped onto the Ghanaian domestic market, causing material injury and a threat of material injury to the Ghanaian industry. The Commission calculated a weighted average dumping margin of 35.77% for the subject product. Material injury to the domestic industry domestic injury was found to be in the form of declines experienced by Aloex with respect to its sales volumes, market share, return on investment, productivity, incoming cash flow, growth, and utilization of production capacity. In finding that there is a causal link between the dumped product and material injury, the Commission took account of evidence including the increases in the volumes of the dumped product, absolute or relative to domestic production or consumption, the increased market share of the dumped products, and the magnitude of the margin of dumping.
Well, meanwhile, the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Frankie Jakum, tells Joy Business the ruling seeks to provide a level playing field for investors who seek to enter the Ghanaian industrial sector.
Very important landmark in the industrial development of this country, in fact, of all developing countries. We all know that the bane of our development is that most times it's been said, and it's a truism, that industries in countries like ours are unable to thrive. And you set up an industry, and as it's growing, very soon they break down. When they break down, it means that people lose employment, profits are lost, and the government is not able to get the taxes for development as it needs, and so development is retarded. But under WTO regulations, there is a caveat for countries, all countries in the world, to set up such commissions as ours to deal with unfair trade practices, because many a time, the reason why our industries fail is due to unfair trade practices, where products are dumped on our market. And so they make our markets, our products, uncompetitive. WTO has realized that these are some of the things that go against us. And in dumping here, we talk about, it's a very technical thing we look at, because dumping in this sense means that the product has been imported into Ghana from some country, is being sold at a cheaper rate in Ghana than even in their own countries. So you see that it's a specific and well-purposed thing that is done to break industries in our parts of the world. That's why we are not able to compete on an...
We're heading up north next. A local poultry farmer in Damongo in the Savannah region has come up with an innovation to help his colleague farmers by creating cost-effective incubator. The local equipment is capable of hatching 2,500 eggs within 21 days or even less. Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
My grandfather used to use the ordinary pot that they put water to drink. He will put a lantern in there together with the eggs. Then for 7 days, he will remove the lantern together with the eggs and then observe the eggs that are formed by way of, showing it to the sun. You show the eggs to the sun with your hand like this. Then if it is forming, you will know. That is, the olden type of, candling now. We do candling. So that was how my grandfather used to do it. Then I thought I can also direct myself in that angle.
Abdulrahman Mohammed then conceived the idea of building more effective incubator from his grandfather's traditional method. Mohammed explains what makes his incubator better off his grandfather's method.
Yes, with the incubator, with my own, you have to get a thermometer. That is to check your temperature in the incubator, because every incubator should have a thermometer which will give you a maximum of 37.5 degrees Celsius and a minimum of 36.5 degrees Celsius. So I have to get my thermometer. So there is thermometer in my incubator. Then I have a digital one too. That one will check for humidity So
if you choose to incubate your eggs, it is important that you are educated in the correct workings of the humidity and temperature of the incubator. This is the most important part of hatching and can be the difference between your eggs hatching, staying as eggs, or even going bad. It took 3 weeks for Mohammed to finally come out with the incubator.
Okay, because it was my first time of trying such a thing, it took me like 3 weeks because I was not sleeping. I have to, do all my research, and then the daytime, then what I've researched on in the night, then I implement it daytime. If it doesn't work, they have to change the other way around. So it took me three weeks to be able to come out with something reasonable.
Initially, there were some challenges.
By God's grace, it was fine. It was fine. By then, the humidity was my problem, because sometimes when the humidity is too high, the hatching delays. When it is too low, too, other eggs that are not yet well developed, you see them coming out. Sometimes they'll come out there, you see the intestines. That's fast hatching. So you have to keep it from ranging from 50 to 60 to 65%. That's the humidity. So that one was a challenge, but now I've overcome it.
A good quality incubator should have a powerful temperature control where the temperature can be adjusted accordingly, and the accuracy is pretty much spot on. Because Mohammed's incubator is operated manually, much time and attention are needed to achieve good results.
Yes, because our own is manual incubator. So if you want results, that means you have to work extra harder. That's the only part that is a bit tedious. Because if you want results, like fowl eggs, for instance, normally it takes 21 days to hatch. But if you do your turning 5 times a day, it can get 19 days to hatch. Guinea fowl eggs take 26 to 28 days to hatch. If you do your turning well, you will get results earlier than that. Oh, you can get around 25 days. That is the turning. Because with the automatic turning, the eggs doesn't turn 90 degrees. It turns 45 degrees. But with manual turning, you turn your eggs 90 degrees. That means every bit of the egg is turned. And the development of the embryo in the egg, it goes on well. It doesn't stop growth. It doesn't stop.
But what happens if the incubator fails?
When this one spoils, you don't need to go to a very high technician to come and work it for you. But whereby you have eggs in there, then that means that your eggs will get spoiled. But this one, when it's spoiled, I know every part of it. When it is not working, I know it's this side. When the heating system is not working, I know where to tackle. When the temperature too is not rising, I know where to tackle. So, for cost effective, I would say you should go for my incubator as well.
The mortality rate of the incubator is about 2%. That is according to Mohammed. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
Now that's some innovation, incredible stuff. Well, something to look forward to as we gradually head towards the weekend is the mini clinic of the much anticipated JoyNews Habitat Fair, headline sponsored by EcoBank. It's this weekend, that is Saturday and Sunday. You don't want to miss it at the West Hills Mall. And that's the marketplace.